I guess, so in total, how many miles have you hiked while on the Appalachian Trail?
I think around like 500.
No.
No, no. More like closer to 200. Because we did like 60 miles each time. So it's closer to 200. And you were
so
like
you're
250.
you're like at 190 ish.
Yeah.
And I'm like at 240.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna be talking today about hiking on the Appalachian Trail. I've done 240 miles. You've done 100.
No, let's get into it. Let's do a little bit more of an intro than that. Today we're going to talk about our experience. When we were in high school, if you didn't know, you probably don't. Me and Joseph, we were Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
So when we were in high school, we would take an annual trip to go on the Appalachian Trail.
Yep.
The AT. It's the trail that it goes all the way up from the top of the United States to the bottom. It's the longest trail that is, I think, in existence.
I don't know in existence.
I don't know.
But definitely in the United States.
Yeah.
Definitely in North America.
So, our troop leader, he wanted to do we would do it in 50, 60 mile spans each year, and we would take them each year, and he wanted to do the whole thing eventually.
Yeah.
He might have finished it, or
I don't know. It's a lot of miles.
So each year we would go on this hike.
Almost a week long.
You have to take everything that you have on your back, like a backpacking trip.
It's just a backpacking wilderness
trip. It was pretty serious to the point where you had to be a certain age. You couldn't. The younger scouts couldn't do it.
I think you had to be 15 and older to do it.
I don't know. It was
maybe 14.
14 probably.
About 14.
But we did this every year starting. He did it 1 year before me, and then because I wasn't old enough, and then the year after I joined in and did it. I remember that first year. That was the worst year of my life because that was the hardest one. Do you remember that year?
Yeah, I don't know. I just remember almost every year had a pretty big mountain that we climb. Sometimes a couple of them, but usually there's one that stands out above the rest. And there was 1 year that was bigger, that took 2 days to climb it, pretty much.
This is a little bit of an exaggeration, but I remember going that first year, and when we were going up the biggest mountain of the trip, just stopping, falling on my back of exhaustion, and reaching in my bag, trying to just take everything I could find to throw it off the mountain, because I didn't want to carry anything with me. I was so tired.
You had to.
I'm I'll get rid of all my clothes. I'll hike the rest of the way in my boxers if I have to. I don't need clothes. That's my mindset.
I mean, whatever clothes you wear, which is usually not many, so you're re-wearing stinky clothes, but also whatever you're sleeping in at night, any kind of shelter like a tent or a tarp on the ground or something. And then you also had all of your food that you were eating that week because you're responsible for bringing your own. If you didn't bring your own food, no one's sharing with you.
Yep.
You know?
And I remember 1 year we decided to all go hammocking. So we're oh, you have to bring a hammock. That comes out to a good size, but only about maybe a small cantaloupe. Small cantaloupe is the. And then you'd bring a tent. I mean, a tarp, too, you could put in case it rained. So about 2 cantaloupes. That's a lot smaller than a tent. But 1 year...
2 cantaloupes.
2 cantaloupes,
Shut up.
Our scoutmaster, who was kind of in charge of this, he would want to go every year, he decided to get in Joseph's hammock.
Okay, there was a group of people, all right? There was probably, how many people were there to do it? 4 or 5 people that brought hammocks.
Yeah, we all brought hammocks.
And me and my brother had bought the same kind of hammock.
Exact same.
And the first night.
It wasn't the first night. It was the third night.
Maybe the second night. But there was still a solid 3 or 4 days to take place after this event. My scoutmaster decides he was going to be funny. He wanted to sort of connect with us younger guys. So he thought he'd be joking around and try to climb into my hammock that I had already hung up on 2 trees. As soon as he put his fat freaking butt on that hammock, No, it fell down the tree like this. The friction gave way. I've made sure it was safe for me because I had already been laying in it, and the friction gave way on the trees. It scooted down the trees, it just enough to reach the bottom. It hit some kind of sharp rock, and his butt slid across it, split in two, and he started like doing this half wail, half laugh kind of thing from like just rubbing his booty against a really sharp rock. But in the meantime, I'm over there just speechless because he's just ripped in
My
half
hammock.
my way of sleeping. The only thing I had left was a tarp for shelter from the rain. So I literally spent the rest of the trip sleeping on the ground on top of a tarp in a sleeping bag, and if it rained, just pull it over.
I remember that same
Try to
trip
cover
too.
myself
There was another scout who had one that was claimed to be what the label said was it was a double rest. So for two people, double rest.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the joke after that he was like, "Oh, you can join me. It's a double rest."
Yeah, he was like, "It's okay that you don't have a hammock anymore. Mine's a double rest."
So basically, they were
everything-
saying they were going to sleep
Everything
together,
that was
but-
good on that trip was a double rest. It just became a joke. It was a fun trip, but that was a very annoying moment knowing that. And we're scouts.
Mhm.
The thing is, leave no trace. So this little hammock that was ripped and useless, I still had to backpack around. I still had to carry that crap around because I couldn't just dispose of it in the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're scouts. We take our trash with us.
Mm-hmm. I remember going a little back off from the hammock. You one time, I remember this was my first trip. Now I'm still dying to this day thinking about this. I remember we kind of camped right next to the stream, and we were always taught as scouts you have to use the restroom.
Yep.
You don't go near the water because you don't want it to get in the water. They're going to be filtering that out to drink it.
Were you on that trip with me?
What I'm thinking of, I was, because I remember this very vividly.
Okay.
Joseph decided to go a little bit closer to the water than should have been. But we were in a campsite. It wasn't just our group. It was like other people who were hiking
other
there.
People that were also hikers.
I remember very vividly, like sitting there, watching Joseph, like from a good distance away. He was close, but this guy just like coming up behind him, being like, "Oh, you can't be here," but he's like in the middle of his business and everything.
I was just a little too close to the stream that the guy decided he was going to confront me about peeing kind of close to a stream. So he came up and confronted me midstream, and it's hard to stop once you've started. So I'm just sitting there peeing, and the guy's like almost screaming at me, telling me, "You need to stop peeing. This is not cool." And I'm like, "I'm not that close to the freaking water. This is the nature. You don't think animals have done the same thing I'm doing? You're ridiculous."
The experiences we've had on this trip.
Okay.
You want to take a break
So-
right now?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
So the first year, the one that you didn't go to,
Mhm.
I was unsure going into it because it was going to be about a little over about 55-mile hike over the course of 4 days. And so we're going to be walking a lot. And I didn't know, I had done backpacking trips before, but I didn't know if I was going to enjoy this specific kind of hiking, this long thing. So I was like, I'm going to dedicate myself to it. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to make it back. I don't know if I'll do it next year. We'll see. So when I first started that first day, I was nervous. We started walking. It was a lot of walking.
Mhm.
That first night where we camped, I mean, we were climbing a mountain slowly and steadily that whole day, and it was like 10 miles worth. It's a lot of walking. When you're walking, it's not that hard. When you're walking uphill constantly all day with your backpack, that's a lot. That's hard work, you know. And so I wasn't sure that first day. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be I gotta go through with this the rest of the trip, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this again. And the next day was still more uphill, you know. And and we camped out again. I'm like, this is just miserable. I mean, we're just climbing a mountain. I don't know what's in store for me at the top of the mountain. I don't know. We're just freaking walking, you know?
Mm.
It's cool to be in nature, but honestly, after about 2 hours of being in the nature, it just becomes kind of nature, and you just become accustomed to it. So, um, so I'll take a break right there. I'll finish the rest of the story of that first year when we come back.
Okay.
So me and my brother are working a lot right now on this company that we're getting started called WiseWorks Entertainment. If you don't know what that is, what some of the goals that we have is to create entertainment of all kinds. That's funny, that's emotional, that's made in an excellent way, you know, to the best of our abilities and what we can do, and that connects with people, and so that's something that we want to do. We want to look at entertainment in a new way. And we've talked about this a good bit on this channel before, but maybe this is the first time you've heard us talk about it. And it's really important to us as we're growing this company that we are keeping you guys, who is potential and already audience of us, that you guys can know what are some of the foundations, what are some of the values that the company has, and what are some of the things that we do. Honestly, what we want to do, we just love making movies. We love being artistic. We love creating stuff. It's what we want to do. But we're not super into the idea of just getting into someone else's world. And by that I mean working on set for like a Hollywood style film, or maybe even something that we don't particularly enjoy, you know, in films, or helping create something that's not based around values that we personally have. And so we really want to build this company that's creating good entertainment that's fun and enjoyable for us to create, and just as enjoyable for you guys to watch. And we're taking a little bit of a new perspective on it. You can go look at some of our past videos about getting into the details of that. But something that we are just looking for right now is we're using this YouTube channel to help promote and to help grow our following. And so in order to do that, we need people to subscribe. We need an audience, you know? And so we want to just encourage you guys, if you've seen some of our videos, or if this is the first one, I would recommend you get to know us a little bit and can seriously consider just doing something as simple as subscribing to our channel and watching our content that we come out with, because we take time to talk about these things and create content for you guys to enjoy, but we really need it to be able to work towards something that is even bigger and greater, and wants you guys to be a part of that journey. That's why we have this channel, so we can document it, so we can just make a place for you guys to get to know us and to be a part of the company, even from an audience standpoint, and to just enjoy the process of us growing this company. So seriously consider subscribing and watching some of our videos to get to know us, and we're happy that you're here in our audience. So
So back to the show. Okay, so we're back.
So I'm gonna continue what I was talking about. So we've been climbing this mountain. This is my first year. Wasn't sure what kind of, if I even wanted to continue doing this in the following years. I think it was on the third day of hiking that we finally made it to the top of this mountain. And I don't know if you guys have heard of this, or if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. I would be willing to bet that the people that watch this probably haven't been there. There's this bald on top of a mountain, so it means there's no trees or anything. It's just grassy hill that's huge on top of this 4,000-foot mountain. It's called Max Patch, and that's what we were hiking towards. I didn't have a clear understanding of what our goal was when we were getting there, but when I got there, we stopped and we stayed up there for a few hours, and we had like lunch and everything, and just enjoyed the scenery. It was breathtaking, honestly. It was one of the best mountain climbing experiences that I've ever had, and it was so exciting, and we were just like, this is just crazy. I can't believe that we've been working so hard and we finally got here, and this is just an amazing view. It's an amazing sight to behold, you know? And so that afternoon we went down about another 2 miles down the trail, and we're going to set up camp. And me and my friend who was there decided we only get this opportunity like maybe once or twice in our lives. So we're like, we're going to hike back up the 2 miles to the top of that mountain, and we're gonna camp up there and leave, and we'll get up earlier and come back down and meet the other people at the other campsite, and we'll continue the rest of the hike. And that's what we did. It was super windy at night. It was cold because we're at the top of the mountain and there's no trees or woods or anywhere to block that. But it was exciting. It was very beautiful. It was very, very a unique experience. And it was like at that moment I knew if this is what hiking is meant to be. I'm a part of it, you know. And then another fun experience, which I know we do every year after we did every year after we were done hiking, was that we would go somewhere, take showers, and we would go enjoy a relatively large meal somewhere, and probably at a buffet place, because we hadn't eaten real great food for the past week, and so we stopped that first year. We ended it in a town called Hot Springs, and we got showers. We took showers on the outside showers, so it was just like a stall that was outside. And then we went to a very nice buffet, which I know that's usually a highlight of the trip. It's something we definitely look forward to. But that was just my first year, and that was what I knew that I wanted to keep doing this every year. So, what is some experience with you?
Yeah, kind of the same thing. I loved going eating at the end. That was the best. But I remember, you did it 1 year before me. What you were just talking about, going to Max Patch, and then I did it every year after with you because I wasn't old enough the first year. But I remember 1 year we wanted Mountain Dew so much, and it was like, I remember saying we wanted Mountain Dew, but we couldn't have not Sierra Mist, Mellow Yellow, because we were like, Mellow Yellow's not Mountain Dew, it's totally different. And it is, but they're both sugary drinks that we probably shouldn't have been drinking. So I remember we went to this restaurant and they were like, if they don't have Mountain Dew and they have Mellow Yellow, we're going to be so upset.
Yeah, if they don't have Pepsi products and only have Coke products, they're going to be pissed.
So I remember going to this restaurant. She's like, what do you guys want to drink? And someone said, do you have Mountain Dew? And she said, no, but we have Sierra Mist. Like, it without a beat, she said, we have, not Sierra Mist, we have Mellow Yellow. And it got dead quiet, and then all of a sudden, we just heard a, oh, in the whole
yeah, everybody
restaurant.
in our group just started, wailing.
Wailing.
It was like the first day
we almost, started. Everybody in the restaurant, someone on the way other side, just, they turned and looked because we were just screaming almost.
They didn't have
Mountain Dew.
Of course, we went and got it later, at a gas station. But we just wanted to the first stop that we made that wasn't a shower to get a drink, we wanted it to freaking be Mountain Dew. And they didn't. They had freaking Mellow Yellow.
They did.
Yeah, I had forgotten about that. That's funny. So what is another highlight? When you think about, maybe not just a funny experience, but what's something about hiking that's attracted you to come back 2 other years after that first year and keep doing it?
I mean, I really enjoyed it because, for one, it was such an experience, and once you're done with it, you're like, I can't believe I just did that.
It's such a high.
Yeah, it is such a high, but then also, you're so tired, and after the days of hiking, that it was like the people who went with you just said the most ridiculous things, and it was just so fun to where that's where the double rest came in, because it was just ridiculous and just so much fun.
Yeah,
to spend that and experience it.
It's something that really, I know guys in particular, they really bond over doing something, even if it's as simple as just surviving and walking through the woods and up mountains and stuff. And so you really become really close with the people that you're with, because as a group of guys, it's the best way to really grow in friendship and get to know people is through something like hiking. And so yeah, it's a great experience. If you haven't hiked like that before, definitely highly encourage it. We should probably do a hike soon.
We should
get a group of guys and go hike again.
Do it again. I mean, I would love to do that. So, we're encouraging you to try something like this yourself, except do it safely. Don't be
Yeah.
stupid about it.
Yeah, if you know nothing about hiking or you weren't in Boy Scouts or anything like that, then do a good bit of research before you go, obviously.
Mhm.
But definitely do it.
It was a good experience.
Yeah.
So,
We should do a documentary about a whole week of hiking and put it on the channel. Let's do it. Let's do it in the spring next year.
I'm down.
Let's get a group of guys and go on a
Okay.
week-long hike.
I'm down.
All right. Maybe you guys will see that in the future. We'll see you later.